So it's not an Airsoft gun review, it's an Airsoft kit review today. We're looking at the Archwick USW B&T G17 kit. I know that's a very long name, but this thing is pretty cool. Now, it's based on the real versions, actually licensed through ASG, who holds the B&T license, but is made by Archwick Airsoft, which is here in Taipei, Taiwan. And they're a rather newish company to the airsoft scene. However, they're making the real premium stuff. They've kind of come in, making that top level. They started with sniper rifles, like the Mark 13, and now they moved to this. So this is actually quite a unique product, and it does fit a really cool market need. We're gonna talk a little bit about the history, and then we're gonna dive into this. So the real USW, which is, I'll kind of un-Gucci it for you here and give you what the kit looks like with just the pistol inside. The real USW is built on the CZ platform. It's sold as a complete product with the lower receiver and everything, but they also decided after they created it to make kits for different pistols in the world. And of course, Glock is pretty high on that list, considering that Glock is probably one of, if not the most popular pistol worldwide. And in the airsoft world, there have been hundreds of thousands of Glock pistols sold. So let's talk into the features, what they did with this, how the kit's made, what it's about, and the future plans of this kit, because this is their premium offering, metal CNC for the Glock. However, they have other pistols and other materials in the works. You can see, you can kind of configure it however you want. I've got a few different versions here I've put together for you, depending on how you want to set it up. We're gonna probably start with the, I'll put this one away because this is the 18 version we'll talk about here in a minute. This is the 17 version. Now, what you get in the kit, now I've added a whole bunch of stuff. I put like this Ace Tech tracer unit on it. I put a little foregrip on here. I got the extended mag in the Glock pistol and an ACRO, an acro red dot. Now, the reason I have this red dot on here is because this dovetail mount built into the receiver of this, the actual kit for the USW, is designed specifically for this. However, if you saw the other one had a T1 or a micro aim point, and that fits on a Picatinny rail, which also comes in the kit. So you can actually put your optics on there. So one thing this does is it does give you the ability to mount optics to your pistol platform. It allows you also to turn it into the kind of an SMG, and you can do whatever you want. Standard Picatinny rail here on the front. This version, the current version, is made of aluminum. It's milled out on a 5-axis CNC machine, so this thing is very high-end. It does have a price point to match that high-end build. However, they are making a polymer version, and that's going to be way more wallet-friendly and weight-friendly too. Now, don't get me wrong, this thing's not heavy. It only comes in, I think, at like 420, 430 grams. So it's about 1 pound of weight. So it doesn't add a lot to your pistol build. The other thing is it's very balanced. Now this one, I've got all this stuff on. It's still pretty balanced, a little front heavy because I've got a lot of stuff hanging off the front. But if you do something like this, the weight is perfectly centered over my hand. I mean, perfectly. You can kind of see I've only got like one finger here and then my thumb like holding it, and it just balances out just perfect. And that's what I love about it. It allows you, since it is balanced, to present it as a pistol, use it as a pistol. Oh, and by the way, if you don't want to use the optics, you can still use your iron sights. There's kind of a hole right here cut out, and it allows you to still use that with the pistol, the iron sights on the pistol itself. It feels balanced, so you don't feel out of place. Also, because the trigger guard's exposed, you can use any holster that mounts here. Now, like I said, this whole thing is metal. I don't think there's a bit of plastic on it except for the stock, which we're gonna talk about right now. There's a little button right here, and it's right there where your finger is gonna go, and you're gonna press that button, and it kind of swings out. And you take it the rest of the way, click it into place, it locks here, and now you got this reinforced stock. Now, this thing isn't like padded up. It's not gonna be the most comfortable thing like shouldering an AR, let's say, but it gives you something to put here, and now you've got a more stable platform. So if you're an airsofter and you've invested in, let's say, in this case, a G17 pistol, Gen 3, Gen 4, or Gen 5. There's a Gen 5 kit you need to buy to go along with this to fit the VFC Gen 5s. It works with, of course, the VFC, which is the gold standard of Glocks. And if you have legacy ones, you can actually still have, like, I think there's some leftover WEs out there, or even Marui if you're in Japan market. Those will work too. Also in Japanese market, they included a kit for the AEP, which is pretty darn neat. Now there's some bad news about fitment. We're gonna talk about that in a second. If you want to try to something that is a Glock variant, not a Glock itself, and some fitment issues there. But overall, this thing works for anything VFC, WE, or Marui. So that's pretty cool. So use is pretty simple. You got the button, slings out the stock. If you want to retract the stock, there's a button right here where my thumb is, that right there. You'll press it up, you'll slide it in, lock it back in place, and you're good like that. Again, if you don't want to have all this stuff on it, you can go pretty bare bones basic here. You'll see that Picatinny rail I was telling you about. It's mounted over top of the dovetail mount, which is nice. If you do have that ACRO acro, you can actually just take the rail off, 2 little screws right here, and put it right on so it sits flush like that. But if you don't have it, you can use that. And anything fits on it, like you saw over there. I got the aim point on that one. This thing works good. So if you just want to have like a little stock, you can place some, airsoft. I've got the short mag in here. This is going to be your smallest, lightest setup. Now this is the G18 version. Like I said, we're going to cover it. Both versions are different for a reason. If you notice here in the back, this one's got a lot of missing material here, and this one has the metal there. The reason it has that is you need to have the space for the fire selector here. So semi and full, it needs to be able to cycle. So now, of note, if you buy the G18 version of the metal kit, it will work on G17s. It just won't look as, I guess, clean and pretty like this one, but they built it around that. And because it's licensed, they did everything they could to make this thing as close as possible, like the B&T licensing and some serial numbers there. Now, how this thing gets installed, there is a tension screw here in the front. Essentially, and I'll sling it here. I like using the 18 because you have a little bit more visibility to the back of the pistol. So the actual back of the lower frame pushes up against a plastic piece here, and then you install this thing over the rail slides into here, and you can tighten this screw down, literally, and it pushes the pistol back in here, and under tension gives you a solid platform. It now all locks in. So it's here, mounted on the rail, pushing back into this point. Now, if you do notice, there are some little plastic shims there. That's because every airsoft pistol is just a little different. They're not all the same. So you do have to shim them up for some versions, this being a G18 here. This is the actual VFC Gen 3 G18. So this one, because of the frame, the way it's set up, you have to put a little bit of shims. They do include those shims in the box. Once it's there though, this thing is a solid platform. I mean, it doesn't move, it doesn't wiggle. This pretty much feels and becomes, because of those 2 points of contact, one big piece. So when you get this, you're gonna have to replace the back plate on your pistol itself. And it comes with a kit, and depending on which version you have, some mount different ways. And like I said, including the AEP version, which only shipped to Japan, they might be releasing that AEP version in the polymer frame when it comes out later. And it allows you to put this plate on, and it gives you the ability to put the charging handle on there. Now, you don't have to put it on there, but getting this thing racked is gonna be a nightmare otherwise. So once you put that on there, you can, there you go, and now it's ready to rock. It lets you kind of have that charging handle, it'll lock back, there's access to the slide release, and it's ambi. So if you notice, you'll have the rail, the channel here for the charging handle, and then on this side, the same one. On the 18, of course the big hole's there, but it still continues on, so you'll be able to use it. So if you are lefty or righty, you can set this up the way you want to, and that's good. Like I said, the Gen 5 has an adapter kit. Like I said, if you want to do the AEP, it's also an adapter kit as well, but they do offer all of those. So if you do have something special, you can do that. That's pretty neat, and that's all it is. That's all you have to do. You have to make that change, and then, oh yeah, by the way, to take it out, all you do is you slide it back, and you can have like a single point screw right here, take it out, and you can remove your pistol. It's really easy to get in and out of this frame, and I think they did a fantastic job mimicking the real one, and then also making this thing interchangeable for pretty much any G series pistol on the market. Now, there's a downside. If you have some special edition, let's say like the Red Wolf EXA pistol, or you're like a fan of an average pistol or something like that, because they're using a different lower frame, something similar to the Lone Wolf frame. The Lone Wolf frame has a larger dovetail that extends out, or maybe a little different geometry. Those are not going to work with this because that frame comes out farther and won't let you push it up in here. The whole idea is, remember, it's got two major points of contact. Back here, right in this area, it's pressing here, and then this, when you screw it in, it's pressing there. It locks it in and becomes tight. Because that lower frame's longer, it's just not gonna fit. They couldn't make a version that worked that. They may in the future have one that's interoperable, I'm not sure. Like I said, polymer version's coming, so it's gonna bring the price point way down. This thing is premium. It's gonna cost you far more than the pistol will. The new kit should be less than a pistol, so that's nice. It kind of lets you have the whole platform, have an SMG, give you something that's MP7-ish, and you can still run it. This, I think, is so cool. Also, heads up on this, if you do have a big can like this, depending on how it mates up, you may not be able to run the charging candle on it, so kind of test that. I think a smaller tracer unit, smaller suppressor works a lot better. One that has just a little more clearance, you might need to put a small spacer in there if you want to work a tracer unit, just because of the way that it's designed to get that slide to actually work. Now, one last thing, if you want to, like I said, it'll fit a holster. You do get this little string here that attaches right back here in the center, comes with it, so it lets you have a single point attachment so you can actually run around with it if you don't want to have a holster. But aside from that, that pretty much covers this whole thing, tip to toe. It's just a neat system. I think it's a neat platform. Downsides, like I said, the tracer unit or a suppressor, if you put one on here that sits really close, doesn't have a little bit of gap in here, a space, you may have to shim that up. You may have trouble getting this thing to actually work. Like if I tighten this one all the way down, I probably can't, I can't move this one right now. I can't actually charge it. But if I unscrew it just a hair, because it's pushing up against that piece there, right? There's like pushing up against the actual guide rod, the slide rod. Then I should be able to, if I just take it out a little bit farther, and let it move. There we go, I got it now, see? So you just need a little bit of spacer in there, it's all you need, and then you can do it. So that's the one gotcha. Make sure if you're gonna put one of these on the end, you're going to do that. But in this case, if I take it off, it takes forever to unscrew, right? So this one, like I said, has a threaded barrel. If I take that off, then there's absolutely no issue at all, right? That slide works perfectly. It's not a design flaw of his platform that he designed for them. It's just the way the system works. It's just not built for that. You just need to make sure, a little bit of a spacer. You can buy those little tiny spacers here for the 14 counterclockwise threads, space it out, and you're totally good to go. No problem there. The other gotcha is if you are one that really loves to keep their pistols just pristine, like perfect with no scratches, this is absolutely not the kit for you. This thing will, because it's metal, and even I think the polymer one probably over time, especially for the 18, in fact, you can probably see it right there, if I can kind of, there you go. You're gonna get some scratches on here. This thing is designed for use, and it will put scratches on it. The real one does the same thing. So, keep in mind, the real one's gonna scratch the frame of the pistol. The Airsoft version's gonna mimic it because that's how the real one's designed. It's just part of the thing, part of the issue. So if you're one that loves to keep things just like showroom perfect, you might not wanna get this. However, if you're like me and you care about use, and I mean, it's gonna stay in this anyway, I play with my Airsoft products like they are tools to use on the field to have a good time. They don't have to stay perfect. This is gonna be great, like absolutely awesome. It's gonna be something you're gonna enjoy. I mean, this thing's so lightweight, so well balanced. I really think it's good. And then, like I said, even fold it all in. If you just wanna use this as a pistol, keep it as a sidearm, this still works good. It's easy to move, easy to present, easy to use, even with the iron sights, not a problem. So if you're interested in this, I'm gonna have a link over to Archwick's site. I'll have a link to places you can see the sale, like where you could have got it. Like I said, this version, the CNC premium version, is already sold out everywhere. But the reason I'm linking out for you guys and gals is that polymer version will be around at some point, depending if you're watching this video now or in the future, whenever that time may be, you'll see it, hopefully. And I'll kind of do an update when the polymer one comes out as well and kind of link back to this full review. So if you guys and gals are interested in something pretty cool, take a look for these. You can find them secondhand market. You might be able to find some shops that still carry these floating around. Like I said, they've been sold out at the dealer side. So kind of look if you want to dig into it. This is definitely pretty cool. If you are in Europe or the USA, North America, even South America, you're gonna have to look at the Asia market. The CNC version was only Asia market release, but I think you can find those if you kind of dig around some Japanese sites, some Taiwanese sites, and Hong Kong sites. I think you can still track a few of these down. Anyway, let me know what you think in the comment section below. I'm all ears. I want to learn about, what you guys and gals think of the USW kit for the G17 and what other pistols would you like for them to make one of these kits for? So let me know what you think would be the next pistol you'd love to see go into this frame and become kind of the new de facto SMG conversion standard without you having to buy 2 different platforms. So I'll be looking forward to that conversation and be joining you down there in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe if you guys have not done so on the channel. And I do have a web store that sells really cool morale patches. Check it out at patchfiend.com. Link would be kind of popped up here in the corner. So anyway, until next time, go out, play some airsoft, have some fun, but no matter what you do, call your freaking hits.